Mona Lisa Heist. In August 1911, the world's most famous painting vanished from the Louvre in Paris. The thief was Vincenzo Peruggia, an Italian handyman who had worked at the museum. He simply hid inside a storage closet overnight, waited for the guards to leave, removed the painting from its frame, and walked out with it under his coat. At the time, the Mona Lisa wasn't yet the global icon it is today. The theft and the media frenzy that followed made it famous. Police arrested poets and artists, including Pablo Picasso, before realizing the real thief was long gone. Mona Lisa painting was in France since 1517, when Leonardo da Vinci took it with himself, shortly before his death in 1519. The famous painting was purchased by French King Francis I directly from Leonardo da Vinci and was property of the French royal family since then. However, Peruggia was wrongly convinced that Napoleon had stolen the Mona Lisa during the First Campaign of Italy, performed by Napoleonic soldiers in 1796 and 1797. He kept the painting hidden in his apartment for 2 years, believing it should be returned to Italy. He was caught in 1913 when he tried to sell it to a gallery in Florence. The painting was safely returned to France, and Peruggia served just a few months in prison. The theft turned the Mona Lisa into a global symbol of art and mystery. If the heist of such a piece of art seemed so incredible, the next one arrived not in a gallery, but on rails, under a British night sky: the Great Train Robbery. In August 1963, a Royal Mail train traveling from Glasgow to London was stopped in the quiet countryside of Buckinghamshire. A gang of 15 men had tampered with a track signal, forcing the train to halt. They overpowered the crew and stole 120 mail bags containing more than £2.6 million, over £60 million today. The heist was swift and surprisingly bloodless, lasting barely 30 minutes. The gang escaped to a nearby hideout, counting their fortune, but their success was short-lived. The police soon discovered footprints and clues at the farmhouse, leading to a nationwide hunt. Most of the robbers were arrested within months, though a few, including Mastermind, Bruce Reynolds, fled abroad. Only a small portion of the money was ever recovered. The robbery shocked Britain, blending precision and audacity rarely seen at the time. It became one of the most famous crimes in British history, inspiring endless books and films, and proving that even the perfect plan leaves traces. If the train job ended with arrests, the next one could have almost ended with nothing at all until one careless dump: Antwerp diamond heist. In February 2003, thieves broke into the Antwerp Diamond Center in Belgium, the world's most secure diamond trading hub. They bypassed infrared sensors, magnetic locks, and cameras to reach the underground vault. Inside, 123 of the 160 safety deposit boxes were looted. Diamonds, gold, and jewelry worth over $100 million vanished overnight. The operation was led by Italian thief Leonardo Notarbartolo, part of a group later called the School of Turin. Their plan took years of preparation, including renting an office inside the building to study security. After the heist, police traced the crime through the only mistake the crew of thefts made in the whole heist process. After the heist, one of the thieves dumped a garbage bag in a small forest just off the motorway between Antwerp and Brussels. This was soon found by a landowner who called the police. Inside the garbage bag, police found incriminating bits, among which even a half-eaten salami sandwich that helped link the crew via receipts and CCTV recordings. Most of the crew was caught, but the diamonds were never found. Investigators estimated that the thieves opened each box by hand, avoiding alarms entirely. The crime remains one of the most sophisticated in history, carried out in near silence under one of Europe's tightest security systems. If a trash bag cracked Antwerp, loose tongues and colder motives would crack the next one, this time with blood instead of breadcrumbs. Lufthansa Heist. In December 1978, a cargo terminal at New York's JFK Airport became the scene of a massive robbery. Gunmen connected to the Lucchese crime family stormed a Lufthansa vault used to store international cash shipments. In just under an hour, they stole $5 million in cash and nearly $1 million in jewelry, the largest robbery in U.S. history at the time. The plan came from insider information about a cash delivery from Germany. The crew escaped without firing a shot, but what followed turned the job into legend. As suspicion rose, those involved began disappearing one by one. Killings, betrayals, and silence replaced celebration. leaving almost no witnesses. Only one participant, Henry Hill, later turned informant, revealed the heist's inner workings to the FBI. Very little of the money was ever recovered. The robbery exposed how organized crime infiltrated airports and logistics during the 1970s. It became immortalized in the film Goodfellas, but for those involved, fame came at the cost of their lives. But even as America continued to clean up its crime networks, Britain soon faced another golden scandal: Brinks-Mat robbery. In November 1983, 6 men broke into a Brinks-Mat warehouse near Heathrow Airport in London. They expected to steal cash, but instead found gold bullion worth £26 million, around £100 million today. The robbers forced the guards to open the vault, loading over 3 tons of gold into a van. It was one of the largest robberies in British history. What followed was even more dramatic. Melting, laundering, and hiding the gold became nearly impossible. As police tracked the metal through metal refineries and banks, arrests multiplied. Insiders, including a security guard, were exposed for helping plan the job. Most of the gold was never recovered, and several people connected to the heist were murdered in the years after. The robbery exposed deep corruption within security firms and financial systems used to clean stolen assets. It became known as the crime of the century, reshaping how Britain regulated gold and cash movements. Even decades later, investigators still trace missing bars in circulation. If London's scandal ran through banks, the next crew would dig their fortune below them. Banco Central burglary. In August 2005, thieves tunneled into the Banco Central in Fortaleza, Brazil, pulling off one of history's most daring heists. Over 3 months, they rented a nearby house and dug a tunnel 78 meters long and 4 meters deep, supported by wooden beams and lighting. The tunnel led directly under the bank's vault. During a single weekend, they broke through reinforced concrete and removed 3.5 tons of cash, about $70 million. When staff returned Monday, the vault was empty and there were no alarms or signs of forced entry. The gang had used trucks and fake landscaping businesses to move soil unnoticed. Police later arrested dozens, but only a fraction of the money, less than 10%, was recovered. The mastermind, nicknamed the Big Boss, was eventually caught but killed in prison years later. The heist shocked Brazil, revealing massive gaps in security and oversight. It became a symbol of patience, engineering, and nerve. If Brazil proved patience could hollow out a vault, Iraq would show that power could empty one in a single night, with no tunnels required. Central Bank of Iraq robbery. In March 2003, just hours before the US invasion of Iraq, Saddam Hussein, then president of Iraq, pulled off the largest bank theft in history. Acting through his son Qusay, he ordered $1 billion in cash to be withdrawn from the Central Bank of Iraq. Trucks were loaded overnight with shrink-wrapped bundles of US dollars, no weapons, alarms, or masks, just official letters and guards following orders. Saddam had planned to use the money to survive the war, but it disappeared as his regime collapsed. US troops later recovered around $650 million hidden in walls and bunkers, but the rest was never found. The theft revealed how political power could become the biggest inside job. Unlike other heists, it involved no disguise, no vault breach, and no getaway car, only absolute control. It remains the largest single cash theft on record. But while Iraq's fortune vanished in daylight, another thief would leap into legend by vanishing into thin air. D.B Cooper Hijacking. In November 1971, a man calling himself Dan Cooper boarded a Northwest Orient flight from Portland to Seattle. He wore a suit, carried a briefcase, and claimed it contained a bomb. Once in the air, he passed a note to a flight attendant demanding $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes. After the plane landed in Seattle, the FBI delivered the money, and Cooper released the passengers but kept the crew. He then ordered the pilots to fly low toward Mexico with the rear stairs lowered. Somewhere over Washington state during a rainstorm, he jumped into the night and vanished. Despite decades of searching, only small clues emerged. A few torn parachute straps and $5,800 in decayed bills found in 1980. No body, no parachute, and no clear suspect were ever found. The case remains the only unsolved skyjacking in US history. Over 800 suspects were investigated, but none confirmed. The legend of D.B Cooper endures as a symbol of mystery and audacity. A man who walked onto a plane, named his price, and disappeared forever. If Cooper vanished into cloud cover, the next crew would step out of retirement to perform the last heist of their careers. Hatton Garden Heist. In April 2015, during Easter weekend, a group of elderly thieves broke into London's Hatton Garden Safe Deposit Company. The vault, located in the heart of London's jewelry district, held millions in cash, diamonds, and gold. The crew, mostly in their 60s and 70s, used industrial drills to bore through a 50-centimeter thick concrete wall. They bypassed alarms, climbed through a narrow hole, and emptied 73 safety deposit boxes. The loot was valued at up to £14 million. The operation was calm, methodical, and spread over 2 nights. For weeks, the public couldn't believe retirees had pulled it off. Police later traced them through phone data and getaway vans, revealing the so-called bad grandpas, former career criminals reunited for one last job. All were caught within months and sentenced to long prison terms. Only about 1/3 of the loot was ever recovered. The heist became a sensation in Britain, not for violence but for patience, precision, and irony, an old-school robbery in a digital age. It proved that experience, even in crime, never ever retires. If Hatton Garden embarrassed old security, the next one would embarrass modern security equipped with cutting-edge technologies. Louvre Heist. In October 2025, the world's most visited museum faced its most daring crime. Just after dawn, a small, disciplined crew struck the Louvre in Paris with precision worthy of fiction. Using a truck-mounted lift, they breached the Louvre's facade, reaching the Galerie d'Apollon, home to France's crown jewels, and shattered the stillness of morning glass. In under 8 minutes, they seized 8 priceless treasures, including the crown of Empress Eugénie and other royal jewels, worth an estimated 88 million euros. No other exhibits were touched. Within moments, the thieves were gone, speeding through Paris before police could seal the perimeter. Investigators later said the group had exploited timing, audacity, and intimate knowledge of the museum's routines rather than any digital breach or alarm hack. Interpol called it a daring jewel heist, one that exposed how even a fortress of art could be undone by bold simplicity. Days of raids across Europe recovered only a single broken crown. The rest remained missing. The Louvre reopened soon after, but the theft forced the world to reconsider what secure truly means. Even in an era of sensors and AI surveillance, the 2025 Louvre Heist proved that precision, nerve, and perfect timing can still outshine technology. It became the defining jewel theft of the 21st century.